Hey, Mike with Mike's Bags, and today I am reviewing the Penetrator by Seva Cornhole. This is the first set of bags that I have gotten from Seva, so I was pretty excited to get these in and get out and throw them and do a review here. So go ahead and break down this Penetrator, and I'll tell you what I found out. Design-wise, this was the only design that I saw on their website they had available. They did have this in, like, I think 5 or 6 different colorway options for us. They give you a little bit of some choices to make there. I'm imagining as this bag, as they go along, they'll have some different design-wise, but I don't mind the design. It's unique. It stands out. It's a fine design for this bag. No issues with it. Material-wise, slow side on this. This is the Surefire material. It's just the opposite side of what Lucky uses. This is the same side of the material that you find on the Reynolds Typhoon, the Buffalo Deadhead, the Titan Thrasher uses this side. The Cornslinger Surge, I recently reviewed, uses this side. It's the softer side of the material. For me, I think it's the side material I actually like the best. It plays about a 5 speed. Seva calls this a 5.5, but to me it's more like a 5 in normal conditions. Now, as the boards get faster, it can play faster, so you can play up to a 6. And as the boards get stickier and damp from the humidity, it'll play down to a 1. So it does fluctuate. It's very reactive to board conditions. But normal conditions, to me, I call it a 5-speed material. It's a very popular material for good reason. Fast side on this is a little more of a unique material. This is the same fast side on that was on the Razor Tusk I reviewed. It's kind of got that, it's got that herringbone pattern that looks like the Wizard or the Sorcerer or the Fallout X slow side, but it's not. It's actually a polyester material. It's also the same fast side that you find on the Crazy 8 Obliterator, if you're familiar with that bag. Honestly, it's not my favorite fast side material. I think it's a fine material, and I'll get more into playability on that. Issues I have with this material, it's not my favorite. I do think it's a good material for certain players. It's not a material that I think all players are going to like. So to stick with me through the playability, I'll go into more details on why I think that as we go along. They call it an 8-speed. To me, it's probably more like a 7.5. It's a really slow 8. I almost call this a 7.5. So you're looking at about a 5, 7.5 speed on these two materials. Feel-wise or template-wise, this is I'm going to call it a medium template. It's not really a big template or a small. It's that medium template, kind of that sweet spot template. But it is a fuller bag. There's quite a bit of fill in here, which actually gives it a really nice handle. It's got an amazing handle. This bag feels super soft. Feels great. I love the way this bag feels in my hand. You can really get a good grip on it with the amount of fill in there. There is a mixed fill. You've got some beads mixed in with some discs. I like the fill they use, like the type of fill. I like the amount of fill. I mean, all of that is really nice. The bag just feels awesome in the hand. So if hand feels important to you, this Penetrator is one that's really going to stand out for you. Now, playability on this. And this is where, to me, I was torn. Initially, to be honest with you, I absolutely hated the bag. When I first heard it was like, I absolutely hated it. I didn't like the way it played. Part of it was some preconceived bias I had. You know, I had thrown this material on the Crazy 8 Obliterator. It did not like it. To me, this fast side material is not great for pushing. It's a little slower than what I want. It tends to stick. It doesn't play that well in that damp, humid condition. So when you start getting humidity out there, both sides of the material are really going to stick and slow down. This fast side to me is not as hole friendly as I would like a fast side material to be. I would have preferred to see this bag use the same side that the Typhoon uses, that Game Changer fast side, that Surefire fast side. Put that on here. This, I think, would make it a better bag. But as I got to throwing it more and more, I started to understand the bag and I started to really figure out how to throw it. And for me, so let's get into playability, and I'll get into that, I guess, here. But playability on this, it's a bag that I think it's best for fast board conditions. When the boards get fast, this is a wonderful bag, because then, you know, this is not, you know, the downside to this slow side, that there's three big issues with the slow side. One is the humidity. I've talked about it. I talk about it a ton. It doesn't play that way. You can't fix that. Two is it has a kick to it. So if you're not throwing the bag perfectly flat, it's going to kick. Obviously, the faster the boards are, the less kick you're going to get, because the less that material is going to grab when you have a tilt on it, whichever way, the less it's going to grab. Now, I've talked about time and time again that it is a predictable kick to it. So if you're consistent with your bag tilt, when you're flat of your bag, you can play that kick and you can work it. Now, that kick also leads to the bag being cuttable, so you can play cut shots with it, so that, you know, the negative also becomes a positive. If you throw a flat bag, you're not going to be the kick, and then you can use the bag to cut with it. The other issue is that this material does tend to have a tendency to want to hang on the hole. You know, if you throw it fast enough, it'll grab the hole and drip in. But if your bag is starting to slow down as it gets up there, once it stops and hangs, it just sits there, really tough to collect. And so those are the three things. Now, faster board conditions, that doesn't have as much of an issue. All those kind of go away. So I think fast boards, this bag really shines. The other area where this bag shines to me is if you're a harder thrower. And that's where I think the playability comes in, is if you're mainly a carpetbag thrower and you like to throw those rolls, those cuts, those flops, shape shots and all, and you're looking for a non-carpet bag to throw, I think this is it, because this is a bag that the fill's got some bounce to it with that mix. You've got some bounce in it. You can get the bag to hop a little bit. I think it's full enough that this is a bag that you can really get this. If you're a roll bag thrower, I think this is a bag you can roll. You can definitely cut with it. You can flop it. You can really shape shots with this and play this like a carpet bag without having a carpet bag material. So I think that's where this bag shines. And I do think you need to be a harder thrower on normal conditions for this fast side to collect. It's just a little slower than what I like. And the funny thing is, I don't mind the fast side of like the Viking or the Pro Advantage, that 7-speed material on a carpet bag to collect. I'm fine with that. But I find that material be more hole friendly than this. I feel like this fast side wants to hang on the hole more than it should. It just didn't drip in the hole like I always felt like it should have. I don't know if I got a lot of footage of that happening, because when I was throwing it and getting a feel for it, I kind of learned that and figured it out, and I learned to throw a little harder with this bag, and once I started doing that, it was fine. Now, that leads to be, for me, I don't find this to be a great bag for playing that dirty style game. I don't find it a bag that I want to throw blockers up there, because it's a harder bag to collect. However, I will say, because the bag is full, the bag is very collectible. And there were some bags that I had hanging off way past that center line. I felt like more on my opponent's side I wanted to be. And I went after them to see if I could get them. And I collected some bags that I probably shouldn't have been able to collect, because the bag is so full. You know, as long as you're throwing fast enough, you can just clip it. If you can just catch that corner, it wants to grab. And I think because these two materials are kind of sticky, they'll want to grab and it wants to pull the other bag with it. So I was able to collect this bag very well. So if you do end up throwing blockers or leaving bags a little short, or if your opponent's got blockers in the way and you're throwing back blockers and then they collect theirs and you've got to push, I do think you can, I find this bag to be very collectible, more so than some other bags. Definitely more collectible than, say, a Typhoon, right? The Typhoon's a looser, floppier bag. The Surefire, same way, looser, floppier bag. Not very collectible. This is definitely more collectible than those. But you have to be comfortable throwing harder. If you just flip it over and throw your normal throw, well, what I was having is I would push that blocker bag in, and I was just leaving this bag time and time again. You really got to throw harder to get it. So for me, if you're a harder thrower, this is a wonderful bag. If you're playing on fast board conditions, it's a wonderful bag. I think this is a situational type bag that fits those conditions best. If it's normal to slower board conditions, it's not a bag I want to pull. I'd rather pull out the Typhoon. I'd rather pull out that Cornslinger Surge, or a Deadhead. Like I want a faster fast side on normal to slower board conditions. If I don't want to throw hard, that's the advantage of having that fast side, is you don't have to throw hard. So if you're not a hard thrower, you're going to have a hard time collecting this bag. So just be aware of that. But I do think this bag in the right player's hands is actually going to be an awesome bag. Right? You put this in a player's hands who knows how to shape shots, who knows how to roll a bag, who knows how to cut a bag. That's where I think you can shine, because you can really not really play the dirty style game, but if you're playing against a dirty style opponent and you're playing someone who just throws blockers and wants to clog the hole up, this is a wonderful bag for getting around, cutting around, rolling over, flopping over. You can do those kind of things to get around and leave those bags there and make your opponent collect. And that's where I think you're gonna really shine with this. It's not a bag that I think you want to run bags in the hole with very often. You can do it, but I think you're gonna leave too many bags hanging. So all in all, once I figured the bag out, I actually enjoyed throwing it. It just took me a while to figure out how to play it, how to throw it. And for that reason, I don't think this is a bag that's designed for everyone, right? So if you're not one of those things that I've mentioned, maybe this is not the bag for you. However, Seva does have quite a few other bags. And honestly, I'm okay with bags not being designed for it, right? I like it when companies design bags for specific conditions, specific players, and they have different bags lined up so that you can go find it. Sometimes that Swiss Army knife of bags is not always the best bag, right? Sometimes I don't want a bag that does everything. I want a bag that does exactly what I want it to do at that day in those conditions. That's what I'm looking for. And so I think Seva that's what they did here, and I actually like it. Now, availability, Seva has a website, SevaCornhole.com. I'll put a link in the description for you guys. The bags, when I looked them up, they're $75 for a set of 4 of them, which is on the cheaper side for an ACL stamp bag. I'll mention these are ACL Pro Stamp for 2023. So for an ACL stamp bag, that's on the cheaper end. There is shipping on that, but definitely on the cheaper end, well worth it. You know, these are great bags, simply high quality bags. I love the way the bags feel. Everything about them looks awesome for that price. So if you've done the Penetrators, let me know. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you like about it, what you don't like. If you're a fan of Seva, let me know what other bags, what other models I should get and check out. Because I don't know a lot about Seva, so I'm just starting to get into them. I am interested after throwing these. I kind of want to get some more to see how they play. So I thank you guys so much for your support, and thank you for watching.